Hello, everyone. So, I got my computer fixed. I'm sorry that you got pre-made lessons from somebody else that may or may not have helped you, but I hope they did. But this week I wanted to continue talking about what I started last week, talking about using verb tense, right? Past, present, future, when we talk about wants and needs, things that are important for us to survive, which is a need, or things would that we think would make our life better, right? So last week I gave you kind of some vocabulary. So wish, want, hope, and need. So if you need to review that, you can watch the video from last week. However, this week I wanted to talk about using the verb tense and why some verb tense is better to use than others when we talk about this. So the best way, I think, to talk about a want or a need is to use simple present tense. So for example, I want a new car. I hope I get the manager's position. I wish I could leave early. I need to leave early, right? So these are all ways to tell somebody a want or a need, right? And you'll see that we're using simple present tense. So just to remind you how to use simple present tense, we use simple present tense to tell people that an action happens a lot or that it is repeated. I walk to the bus. She helps me. We come to work at 7 a.m. So that's how we use simple present tense. However, when we use words like need or hope or want or wish, when we use these words, it's kind of like using a verb like think, right? When we say need, it isn't something that's a verb that you can show somebody, right? So if I said walk and I said, what do you look like when you're walking? You would just walk. But if I said, okay, now act like you need something, it's like, what do I do? How do I show that? Because it's not a verb that talks about a physical action, something that has to do with like your body, but it is something that has to do with the way we think or the way we feel. So the way we use those kinds of words, they're still verbs. Think, love, emotion verbs are the same as these verbs need, want, hope, and wish. So we can use them like we use all our other verbs when we do simple present tense. You just take the basic word and you say, I need to take a break, right? Um, I feel lightheaded, right? We use feel and need in the same kind of order to mean different things. I need to take a break is telling somebody I am going to take a break, right? And you're explaining that you need to do it because you feel lightheaded. You feel like you kind of feel like you're going to faint. Or you could say, he needs a new job. Remember, we add an S at the end if it uses he, she, or it, right? He needs a new job. His boss is rude and inconsiderate, right? He's not nice. He doesn't think about him or his employees. Um, so these are ways that you can use simple present tense to talk about a need. We'll keep going. We want a better manager, right? We use the verb want right after the subject, and then we describe what it is that we want. She wants to go to nursing school, right? They want to move to Canada. Now we use simple present tense because when we feel something or when we want something, it's kind of like it's happening all the time, right? Think about something that you want. Do you stop wanting it sometimes. Yeah, you do. You cannot want something anymore, or you can not wish for something to happen anymore. But the way that we use simple present tense is something, an action that happens a lot or consistently. Um, so when we talk about want or wish or hope or need, we use it in the simple present tense because in English, when we use feelings and things about our thoughts, we use simple present tense because it's something that is just always happening. We don't need to specify with an ing verb that it's happening right now in this moment, right? Um, it's something that when you say that you want something, you need something. It's something that to you in that moment is something that you will need in the future, something you need in the past, something you wanted in the past, right? So that's why we use simple present tense. And I think, or I would tell you, when you are talking to somebody about a need, like you want to use the verb need, or the verb want, or the verb hope, or the verb, what was the other one? Wish. If you use those verbs, I would use it in simple present tense. I wish it was the weekend. We wish you were here. Mariah wishes she could come. We hope you have fun. Tony hopes to get a second date. I hope there is no snow tomorrow, right? So we're using all of these different verbs, right? Need, which is something that is important to survive. Want, that is something you think would be better or think something that will help you more. Wish is something that is I is something that is probably not going to happen, but you want it anyways, right? Um, and hope is something that could happen, something that is likely to happen, but is something that has outside factors or things that make it so it might not happen, right? I hope there is no snow tomorrow. It's possible, right? But when you say, I wish it was the weekend, it's not going to change what day it is, right? Whereas when you say, I hope there is no snow tomorrow, it's like, it could happen, but just saying, I wish it was the weekend, the days of the week won't magically change, right? so that's how they're different. Now I just wanted to go over again something that's more like specific, is to review how we use verbs in simple present tense based on the pronoun that we use or the subject that we use. If you're using a term or you're saying I or you specifically, you say need. I need, you need. But if you use he, she, or it, or you use a word that you can that replaces he, she, or it, right? If you use somebody's name, if you use something like, if you say the car instead of it, the car needs gas instead of saying it needs gas. He needs, she needs, you add an S, it needs. You need to make sure to add an S. But if you say we or they, it's just need. You don't need to add an S. And this is the same for all of these verbs. I want, you want, he wants, she wants, it wants, we want, they want. I wish, you wish, he wishes, she wishes, it wishes, we wish, and they wish. Now, you'll see that this word, instead of just adding an S at the end, it adds an ES. That's just, there's a rule and a reason why we do it, but I won't confuse you by explaining to you right now. Just know that in English, we will, to make something, plural, when we add an S at the end, it usually can be just an S or an ES, right? That's kind of what we work between. I hope, you hope, he hopes, she hopes, it hopes, we hope, and they hope. Now, it's kind of, you won't say a lot of sentences like "it wishes" or "it hopes," just because those are things that humans express to each other, right? So they're kind of deemed like a human verb. Um, but but you could say the car needs gas. The bus needs to come more often. Um, but using, wants, wishes, and hopes is you can't always use it with it, right? Um, but sometimes you can. Like the dog wishes their owner was home. That's using, it wishes, but you won't see it a lot being used. When you use it, you'll probably use I hope, you hope, he hopes, she hopes, um, we hope, they hope. Those are usually the ones that you'll be using, with all of these words. I need, I want, I wish, I hope. Okay, so this next part, I want to talk to you about how you can use the present progressive tense. Now, it's a bit confusing. I am needing a pen. Is this correct? Yes. If you said I am needing a pen, that is grammatically correct according to English grammar. However, does it sound correct to people who speak English as their first language? No. Now, okay. So I'll kind of talk about this for a second. When English speakers, when something is correct, it uses the correct grammar, but it sounds weird. Sometimes people will try to explain why it sounds weird. So for example, I was taught growing up that you could not say this, I am needing a pen, because need, the verb need, is a thought or a feeling, right? So you cannot put the ing at the end. But this doesn't really work because you can say things like thinking or having, right? Those are perfectly correct and sound correct when we use them in English. So the explanation on why this doesn't sound correct isn't clear. If you said, I am needing a pen, I am needing a vacation, that is correct. That is okay. You're okay to say it, but it will sound weird to people who speak English as their first language. So what advice I would tell you is whenever you use words to express, to talk about a need or a want, like I need, I want, I hope, I wish, try not to use the ing. Try not to make your sentence structure a present progressive. I am, he is, we are. Try to stick with simple present tense, right? I wish, I hope, I want, I need. Try to stick with these ones rather than trying to use, present progressive. I am needing, he is wanting, even though it is technically correct. So it's not that it's bad to use it. You can use it this way. It's okay. Just know that sometimes people will think that you're saying something wrong, even though you're not, because a lot of what English people, or a lot of what English speakers know to as right or wrong isn't based on rules that they're aware of like you are. Um, it's based on how they have heard it their whole life, or how they've seen it their whole life. And so they just, in their brain, kind of like how you in your brain can understand when something in your first language is incorrect or correct. And sometimes you don't know the rule why, but you can tell somebody, no, 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 say it like this. It's the same with English. Um, so using the simple past tense, um, you can use it for words like need, want, hope, and wish. Because sometimes something that you need, something that you want, something that you hope for, something that you wish for can change, right? We needed your help yesterday. right? Your coworker called out sick, or maybe they, weren't there yesterday, and you see them and you're like, "Oh, we needed your help yesterday. It was so crazy." Or um you could say, she wanted to change her schedule. That's another way you're using the word want, but you're using it in the past tense, ed, right? I hoped for a quiet night. He wished for they would leave. It's using simple past tense. So simple past tense, right? When we use it, there's a structure. It's just like present. It's just we use a different word or put an ed at the end of the verb. Want, need, hope, and wish are all regular verbs. So you just have to add an ed. Needed, wanted, wished, and hoped. Those are all the ways to change it to simple past tense. So you're just saying, we needed your help yesterday. Um, and we use simple past tense to tell us what was completed in the past. Simple past tense are actions from the past. So when we use, we needed your help yesterday, it's saying that, oh, yesterday there was a need for your help. But since it was yesterday, a past action, right? When they need the help, it was in the past, you say needed, right? So that's it for today. So just to kind of go over everything again, when you talk about a want or a need in English, try to only use it in the simple present or the simple past tense. If you try to use another tense, it can get confusing for you. It can be difficult to know when it sounds right to people, when it doesn't sound right to people. So I would recommend, if you are starting out with, you just want to be understood, stick with simple past tense and simple present tense when you talk about a want or a need. And so that's it for today, and I will see you